I tell him face to face, I've said it on the show, he went too far left for me often. But it is encouraging to see that in at least 3 places I can think of, he has moved it back to the center. But he's got a long way to go if he wants to do that.
Bill Maher continues to sound the alarm for Democrats, warning them to wake up before it's too late. Since their loss in last November's elections, the DNC has tried multiple times to mount a comeback. But Maher argues those attempts have been shallow and repeat the same mistakes that drove the party into opposition in the first place. In a candid interview with Stephen A. Smith, Maher directly criticized his own party for refusing to confront reality. There's plenty to unpack here, so let's dive in.
Party is a ghost brand. You know what a ghost brand is? It's like Sears or, General Electric. It's still a company, Abercrombie and Fitch, but they've really fallen on hard times.
Yeah.
But they've been around for a long time. So there is value in, it's an asset, right? Because there are still people who know of the company, and if you could have somebody take it over, who's not sentimental about that company and, relaunch it, rebrand it, but it would have to be somebody who is unapologetic about calling them out. People have lost faith in the Democratic Party.
Maher argues that the DNC has become a mere shadow of its former self, a far cry from the vibrant party that once championed the poor, the working class, and the marginalized. It used to stand for fairness, opportunity, and unity, but today, he says, it's barely recognizable. Instead of being a force that brings people together, it has turned into an ideological battlefield where extreme beliefs collide, fueled by moral posturing and virtue signaling. What makes Maher's criticism even more notable is that he isn't alone. Even prominent Democrats, including Gavin Newsom, have acknowledged that the party has become toxic and needs serious reform if it hopes to regain credibility and reconnect with ordinary Americans who feel alienated by its new direction.
Look like he cares what the other Democrats will say.
I don't care. And I really don't.
Right, I know.
I don't give a damn what they say. I really don't.
I know. And it's somebody, I don't either. I'm right where you are. We're very close on all these things. And I think somebody with that kind of abandon is the only person who is going to win back former Democratic voters.
Maher insists that the DNC is in dire need of bold, dynamic leadership, figures capable of inspiring the same loyalty and influence that Donald Trump commands within the GOP. He believes the current leadership is devoid of charisma, conviction, and any genuine connection with everyday voters. Instead, they're trapped in a cycle of political correctness and performative wokeness, blind to what truly drives Americans today, real solutions, not hollow slogans. According to Maher, this obsession with identity politics and virtue signaling has pushed away millions of moderates and working-class citizens who once formed the party's foundation. Unless the Democrats can rally behind a leader who speaks directly to people's frustrations, unites the base, and resists ideological extremes, Maher warns they'll keep ceding ground to a Republican Party that, for better or worse, has mastered emotional and cultural influence.
California Governor Gavin Newsom, did you not?
I'd love him as a candidate. Yes, I mean, you're right. He's not exactly what I'm describing now. Right. I think he'd be a great candidate. He has shown in recent months the ability also to move to the center. He would have to do it a lot more. But as a candidate, he looks great. Great speaker, very forceful, can be mean, which is really important, and he can do it. He also has the backing, or certainly should, of where the energy is in the Democratic Party, the far left, because, he's been out front on a lot of very liberal issues, which I think is great. Gay marriage here in California and stuff like that, pollution, all sorts of stuff.
It's telling that Maher doesn't mention a single notable achievement by Gavin Newsom, a silence that speaks volumes. Despite being viewed as one of Newsom's longtime supporters, Maher seems unable to identify any concrete accomplishments from the California governor's tenure. Instead, what emerges is Maher's subtle acknowledgement that Newsom is deeply tied to the far-left wing of the party. In essence, Newsom has planted himself firmly within the woke camp, a label Maher openly criticizes. This creates a complicated dynamic. If even Maher, one of the few liberal commentators willing to defend Democrats, hesitates to endorse a Newsom presidential run, it signals a serious rift within the party. Maher's underlying message is clear. The DNC can't rebuild its credibility or reconnect with mainstream America by elevating leaders who embody the very ideologies that have driven so many voters away. Not now, and certainly not under Newsom's brand of politics.
Long trail to lose the baggage of governor of the most liberal state in the country. And, you know, I tell him face to face, I've said it on the show, he went too far left for me often. But it is encouraging to see that in at least 3 places I can think of, he has moved it back to the center. But he's got a...
Maher has finally acknowledged what many have suspected all along. Gavin Newsom has drifted too far to the left and can no longer be trusted to lead the country responsibly. It's a striking realization from someone who once defended Newsom as a rising star within the Democratic Party. Maher recalled an episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, where he pressed Newsom about California's controversial policy requiring large department stores to feature a gender-neutral toy section. Rather than giving a clear or thoughtful explanation, Newsom responded with what Maher jokingly described as word salad, a jumble of buzzwords, cliches, and polished hand gestures that felt more like a performance than an answer. That exchange, for Maher, perfectly encapsulated what's gone wrong with Democratic leadership. Too many politicians seem intent on pleasing progressive activists instead of tackling the real problems facing ordinary Americans. To him, that's not leadership, it's political theater.
National election in this day and age? A presidential election. Do you think that's
far left? You mean like AOC?
Yes. I'm just whether it's what you said about Newsom, whether it's an AOC. I mean, do you think somebody like that can win a general election for the presidency of the United States in this day and age? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, that's, you know, anything is possible, and possibly it would excite a certain group of people who have not voted. And I mean, what if 80% of Gen Z voted? Could then a Mondami-like candidate win? I guess so, but I'm not expecting that to happen, and I don't think it's the smart bet for the Democrats. There was an article in The Atlantic this week about well, the Democratic leadership keeps saying the Democrats should change course, you know, away from the far left, but they're not.
Maher doesn't believe politicians like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Zoran Milanovic have what it takes to challenge Republican dominance. And, frankly, he has a point. These figures continue to promote the same hyper-progressive, woke ideals that have alienated middle America and contributed to the DNC's decline. Their fixation on activism over pragmatism has earned them popularity on social media, but made them electoral liabilities in the real world. Maher argues that if Democrats genuinely hope to reclaim power, they need to break free from the far-left echo chamber and rally behind leaders who embody authentic liberalism. Individuals who prioritize free thought, reason, and balance over ideological conformity. The DNC, he insists, needs voices that can unite rather than divide. Leaders who can connect with working-class Americans instead of pandering to academic circles and activist movements. Without that shift, Maher warns, Republicans will continue winning elections while Democrats keep getting lost in debates about pronouns.